Don't sound desperate, just be like, all right, here's an appraisal hack. You want your home to appraise as much as possible. There are some exceptions to that rule. Obviously, if it's property taxes, then you don't want your home to appraise. But I get that question a lot of, if I get an appraisal that comes in higher, aren't my property taxes going to go up? Two totally different scenarios. You have your property assessor. That's a different appraisal that the government or your city or your county does each year. That's not in terms of banking. Banking does not report to your county or city to let them know, hey, you guys assess it at this value. It's actually a much higher value, so can you charge these people more taxes? That does not happen, so don't worry about that. What I'm referring to is an appraisal on your home for purposes of refinancing or purchasing. An appraisal is very important. It can determine, especially in the replace your mortgage community, how much equity you can get access to, how much capital you can get access to. And the more capital we can get access to, the more we can deploy to kind of build up our net worth. And I'll tell you a hack to not necessarily guarantee, but improve your chances of having an appraisal come in higher. Number one, most people don't do this. They're just like, okay, an appraiser's going to come out. I'm at the office, whatever. He doesn't need me. He'll either it's an interior appraisal or an exterior appraisal. Sometimes it's a full blown where it's both. Definitely make sure that you are there, right? You're there when the appraiser's there. You got a good attitude. Another thing is bake some cookies. If it's an interior appraisal, bake cookies. Think about it, chocolate chip cookies. Who doesn't like the smell of chocolate chip cookies? And what type of memories does that create when you walk in the kitchen, you smell chocolate chip cookies? Man, I'm thinking of Christmas. I'm thinking about dipping that thing in milk. I'm thinking about fun, good times. It almost instantly puts you in a good mood. That's where you want the appraiser to go. So you're baking cookies. Obviously, you're not just baking it just for the smell and for the manipulation of it. You're still going to offer the appraiser some cookies too. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to do your due diligence on the front end. So you're going to look up comparable sales inside of, let's say, a 5-mile radius of your home. They have to be comparable, right? It means it needs to be something that can compare to your home in design, style, size, meaning square footage, how many bedrooms, bathrooms. This is what the appraiser is going to do. And again, you got to understand this, and you need to do the homework ahead of time so that you can actually help the appraiser out. And those comparables should be ones that are in alignment with the value that you want. Okay, so don't go out and find a comparable that's like, okay, this home that's 1,300 square foot sold for $240 a square foot, where this home is 5,000 sold for 120. It's not the same. You are typically going to get more dollars per square foot on a smaller house than you would on a larger house. So make sure that they are comparable. They're something that is similar. So make sure that those comparables, and get 3 to 5. And say, okay, these are comparable to my home. This one sold 3 months ago. Don't get something that sold 5 years ago. That's a totally different market. The appraiser is looking for what the value looks like in this market, right? And this market is not just time, it's also in area, right? Within 5 miles. So get 3 to 5 that sold and would give your home the value that you're looking for. So don't provide ones that are negative that would pull down the value. And then you have a very strategic conversation with the appraiser and say, hey, I'm not trying to do your job. It's just, as you know, as a homeowner, these appraisals are very important to us, right? It can make or break a loan. And you don't have to say that I need this loan. Don't sound desperate. Just be like, this loan could really get me to the next level of what we're trying to accomplish with this house and with our finances. So I'm not trying to do your job, but I just wanted to help you out because I know that your time is money. If you can appraise 3 homes in a day versus 2 homes in a day, that means you make more money. So I took the due diligence just because I'm curious as well. Again, not trying to step on your toes, but I've already printed out 3 to 5 comps that are kind of like mine. You may not use them, but if this could help you out and save you some time, have at it. I just wanted to help you out, right? And just constantly be nice. Talk about anything that you've done to the home. What improvements have you made that are not obvious, right? So if you've upgraded the cabinets, well, he's not going to know that. He sees that you purchased, and I'm being sexist here when I say he or she sees that you purchased the property for 300 grand, and you may have had outdated cabinets and outdated kitchen, and now you've renovated the kitchen. You've got new cabinets, new appliances, new sink, new fixtures. Well, that adds value. He may not also, or she may not know that you've added some square footage, right? So I've got a screened-in porch here. You know, that's not going to add a whole lot of value, but it will add value. Anything that's heated and cooled is going to add value. Have an addition in the attic. These are all things that are going to improve the value of your home. So be sure to point those out, and you'll be surprised at the chances that the appraiser is going to say, hey, I know you mentioned that this, appraisal is important. I totally get that. But you bake cookies, you help them, be efficient in their job, all of this. You pointed out the things that they may not have seen that was obvious. You'd be surprised how many times they come to you and say, let me ask you something. I can't guarantee what the value is going to come in at. It's going to come in at what it comes in at. If they're professional, it's basically what they're going to say. But in your mind, where do you feel like you need it to come in at? Bingo, there you go. That's the question you wanted to hear from the appraiser. So again, these are little simple things that you can do if you're doing a refinance or purchase. I just recently did a purchase where if the appraisal comes in higher, because I already own the land and the property and I'm doing a construction, if the appraisal comes in higher, then I don't have to come to the table with a larger down payment. So in full transparency, I'm doing $1 million build. I'm coming to the table with just a little over 20 grand. Typically, you got to come to the table with 200 grand, but because it appraised much higher than expected, I'm coming to the table with less. So on a refi and a purchase, an appraisal is vitally important. So you can use these tips to kind of swing the numbers in your favor. Take care. God bless.
Awesome.